Hello guys, welcome back to the channel where my reality changes on a daily basis, sometimes from hour to hour. Um, we did my reading, and it was talking about destroying everything and resetting. And I'm like, alright, that makes sense. And I felt this unbelievable calm come over me, because I'm like, well, I'm just going to march forward. I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to see where it leads. I really wasn't happy or unhappy, maybe murderously calm would be a good word for it. And I went in and I did a lot of VR, and I did a lot of VR to go meditate in places. And I was being drawn towards the sun, and I was being drawn towards the beach, and drawn towards water, as I always am. And I went into the night ones, and I wasn't quite comfortable in any of the night ones, except for the one where the wolves are howling. "Woo!" And I was quite at home in that. I could have stayed in that forever. It's frozen tundra, and these wolves are howling, and there's the northern lights in the sky. I was quite happy in there. And I came out, and I had inspiration after I meditated for a while, because I said, give me a sign, maybe. I wish you could send me a sign. And I had plucked a, one of those loot crates. They don't call them loot crates, but I plucked a reward out of the air and broke it open. And one of the things I got was a tiger plush. And I'm like, well, tigers are Dionysus. And I was no closer to my solution, because I had gotten the wolf ring that you saw in the video. That one there. I had gotten that wolf ring, and for some reason I got a wedding band with it. And I'm thinking, damn it, I can think of at least 3 or 4 gods or goddesses that are associated with wolves. This doesn't narrow anything down. And I thought about it, and the wolf ring had been intended for Odin. And we've done that whole talking about when God spousing doesn't work thing, haven't we? So I thought about that. And I went out and I was making the music video. You know, filming the bass video for the music video. This crow decides to come. And this crow is telling me what they think. And the crows around here are clever little things, and they will stay hidden. Caw, 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 ba, ba, ba. But staying hidden so that I couldn't get the bird on film, because why would the bird be kind? Kept circling me, but making sure to stay hidden out of camera range. Scolding me. Luckily it didn't come down and take off the rings or anything. And I had to think about that. And it was funny because at one point I was going to turn the video off, but then the crow called again, and I let the video go a little bit longer, and it ended up being just enough for me to make the music video. I'm like, okay. And Odin had told me something last night before Loki did what Loki did. And Odin had told me, you know, it really bothers us. I am your god. Loki is your god. Not that I can't have other gods, but they're my gods. Loki has said time and again he's my patron and lifelong companion. Odin has said the same thing to me. And yet, I don't trust Odin for advice. I'm going to Apollo. I don't trust Loki for advice. I'm going to Hermes. And Loki was very hurt. Loki can't handle when he's not number one. If he's not number one god in every aspect of your life, Odin being the exception, he will melt down. Why was I not coming to him for advice? And we have one of those spats we have, and I said, because your advice is usually disorderly, wrong, and stupid. He can give very good advice. He can lead me in the right direction, but then he can just pop something out of the air that's not good advice at all. I said I would trust Apollo to give me advice. And what did I do today? I distanced myself from all the gods. I did. I wasn't talking to anyone. I was making it very democratic. But I did go and seek out the Temple of Apollo and the Temple of Hermes. And I saw what they posted, and I'm like, I'm not being called towards these gods. These gods, if these people are talking about their nature, and sometimes I wonder, because how I experience these gods is completely different. They're not going to be of much help to me. They're not the gods I need. And I went off and I was murderously calm. And I just had to think about things. But Loki and Odin have both been doing a thing we're told gods don't do. They've been saying they want to be number one. Odin is very much, I am number one. Loki is also number one. So they're both number one. And they will share with each other since they're brothers. But they're not going to have me working with them and serving them and then going off and every time I need advice going to Apollo or every time I need advice going to Mercury. Because that's what Odin and Loki are here for, to give advice and to give guidance. And Odin really didn't get mad. Odin knows my nature. Odin really didn't get mad. Loki is the one that falls apart and does dramatic things, and if you hurt Loki, he won't use a calm, reasonable voice to tell you he's hurt. Sometimes he'll surprise you and he'll try to drag you into play or something, but he'll get back at you. And he'll make sure it's the cruelest, most petty thing you can do, and he'll make sure you know how he feels. He's the god of utter pettiness, he really is. And he got back at me the worst, meanest, most vindictive way he could think of. And of course he'd lie, because he's Loki. And then today he's like, I'm sorry, but you hurt my feelings. I want you to know what it's like being hurt. And I should be mad and throwing things and yelling at him and throwing him out on his pointy little ears, but there's no sense in doing it because he chose me and he chose to be my patron god. And he does not want Apollo in his patch, apparently. He doesn't want Hermes in his patch. And the funny thing is, every time he and I have problems, the X, so to speak, always shows up. It's weird. All this Christian stuff shows up when I am having problems with Loki. And Loki just sits up straighter, and Odin just sits up straighter, and they both look. And Odin's whole response to that Abraham and Isaac thing was, why would I ask you to sacrifice your own child? Why would I ask you something that utterly stupid? And Odin expects us to think for ourselves and to not serve in base servitude, and so does Loki. It's just a matter of they weren't happy I wasn't trusting them to be my advisors, because why serve a god if you're not going to trust them to give you advice? So it was more about destroying my tendency to go off and visit this god and go off and visit that god. Why it seemed the other night like other gods were coming through, I don't know. I do know gods are opportunistic, and if they see a chance to run in and grab something, they will. And it could very well be Loki playing 4 or 5 gods. We know Loki will do this. All my gods could be Loki. They could all be Odin. They will all do this to you. And they want to be my advising council from now on. They don't want me deciding, oh, you're good enough to serve, you're good enough to cook for and do all this stuff and run a channel for and do all this other stuff, but I won't actually come to you for advice. It's strange because I will go to them for advice, but not at a consistent basis. I guess because I have this expectation that if I go to Apollo for advice, I'll get a certain type of advice. But I can tell Lord Apollo's goodwill ended towards me. No, Odin might have helped him see the wisdom of that choice. I think Odin had more than a little to do with that, or Loki might have, but, you know, our gods are allowed to do that up to a point. If they're going to be our patrons, if we're going to work with them, they're allowed to say, I will take care of you, I will provide for you, but enough of you toddling off and talking to these other gods. And Odin was just crossing his arms and looking at me and goes, isn't it kind of funny that you did 3 readings and you got everything, and you got everything right? Your readings were right, but who do you think it came from? You really think Apollo's shining his love on you? Who's the god of prophecy? Who's the god of casting the runes? And who's the god of seeing the future? And I'm just going like this. So it was definitely him answering me, so I get to go back and watch that video and see what I can interpret out of it. It depends on where we're talking about the gods coming from. If you're talking about a place where everybody's blonde hair and blue-eyed, all the gods look blonde hair and blue-eyed. If you're talking about a place with redheads, you see a lot of redheads. If you're talking about a place where all the stories mix together from Scandinavia and Germany and everything else, Then you get a mix. You get some redheads, you get some blondes, you get some whatever. And it's kind of like the silly thing of how many angels can dance on the head of a pin. The answer would be as many as they want. But the real answer is that's a stupid question. So what color is Thor's hair is a stupid question. Same thing for Loki, same thing for Odin. And we have our preconceived notions, and sometimes they'll feel that, and sometimes they won't. And Loki just behaved true to his nature. There's a reason we use foxes for Loki and wolves for Odin. If a wolf is hurt or thinks you're not letting them be a leader, they will do what they feel is the wisest decision. If a fox is hurt and thinks something belongs to them, I think I've told you this story already. There's this wolf sanctuary, and they do wonderful things for wolves. But they also think they understand foxes to a meta level. And they gave a fox an egg. And then they made the mistake of, after they gave the fox the egg and they left the enclosure, they went back in. I don't care how much that fox loves you. A fox is not a wolf. It will not come prancing over to you in joy of seeing you. The fox started to scream a war cry at a level that would frighten a chimpanzee away. You ever see chimpanzees get excited and hysterical? It was that volume and that amount of savagery, and started running around and getting into attack mode. And the human couldn't figure out why. Well, because as far as the fox was concerned, that was their egg. And the human was far too close, and now it was fighting time. They might love you with all their heart and soul, but if that is theirs, they will attack you. And Loki felt my devotion is his. And it's a Loki's. It doesn't belong to Apollo. It doesn't belong to Hermes. It belongs to Loki. And maybe Odin and the other Norse gods. He doesn't care with the Norse gods. He's fine. They don't trigger that territorial thing in him. But the Greek gods do. Now, I don't know if this is a test or what. Some people probably work well with both camps, but I've noticed that Apollo and Odin don't like each other at all. And Loki is definitely not fond of Hermes. They've picked out the gods they profoundly dislike, and they're just being territorial. They're being healthy male gods. They're being like, no, are human. And I get the point that if I keep pushing it, they'll be like, good, you like the Greek gods so much, go see how well they'll take care of you and go shelf. So I figured I would share that with you, and I get Loki's point of view. We humans like our free will. We like it a lot. Especially as pagans, we're like, I don't have to listen to you, I'll just go serve another god. And we write each other encouraging articles saying the gods can never tell you no. The gods can tell you no all they want. If the gods say this is forbidden to you, this is forbidden to you. Tough nuggies. If they say don't talk to this particular group of gods, I don't like them today and I don't like them for you, then that's what you do. You have to obey the gods. So, I hope that helps, and I think everything's put to rights. I obviously cannot take him out for a burger. We just can't afford it right now, but we do have some, some treats around the house, so he'll get that. He'll get a lot of love and affection. He was just lashing out in the most painful way possible because he felt hurt. So if he's hurt, I'm going to be hurt, and he's going to show me, because he's a fox, and if you hurt a fox, they're going to bite you right back. So if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.